श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरव भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरव भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरव भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is the 25th of December, Monday, and it is Keshav Masa or Margasesha Masa, Shukla Paksham and Chaturdashi Tithi. So today there are no Vaishnava events, but today is the Christmas. Many other people they will celebrate Christmas today. So we should be entering into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shemika Rishi is speaking to the Shringi about the Parikshit position and saying that Parikshit is the Dharma Paulo Narapatihi, Sat Samrat Bruhashravaha, Sakshat Mahabhagavato Rajashihi, Hayamedayat, Trut Shramayito Dhino, Nayeva Asmat Shakam Arhati. So he is the Dharma Paulo, the king. His glories are being celebrated. He is directly the Mahabhagavata. And he is the saintly king, Rajashi. Hayamedayat, he has performed so many Ashwamedha Yajnas. And when he was stricken by hunger and thirst, at that time, we should not be cursing that Parikshit. So he is not deserved to be cursed at that particular time. He is apapeshu, sobrutyeshu. So he is sinless person, and also he is to be protected by the Brahmanas. He is a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are always to receive good instructions from the Brahmanas, but not the curses. Apapeshu, sobrutyeshu, balena apakwa buddhina, and he is now cursed by a child with the immature boy. O Shringi, we have done papam kritam, that kind of sinful activity we have done. Tad Bhagavan Sarvatma Kshantumarhati. Now, Shemika Rishi is praying to the Lord. Tad Bhagavan Sarvatma Kshantum Arhati. So, oh my dear Lord, protect this boy from the sinful activity. Likewise, Shemika Rishi is offering, he is praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. And then now he is saying to the Shringi about the devotee, that Parikshit Maharaj position, what is the quality of a devotee. Even though the devotees of the Lord, they are being defamed or being cheated or being cursed or disturbed by any negligence, even though being killed, they will never ever counteract any of these acts. If anyone is acting towards them in the personal endeavors. Likewise, um, he's speaking about even though they are both powerful enough to curse any people, even the Brahmanas are also, but they don't do it. They do not counteract in their personal affairs. Likewise, he is saying about the Parikshit Maharaj. So we are in the first canto, chapter 18, verse number 48. तिरस्कृता विप्रलब्धाः सप्ताः क्षिप्ता हता अपि न अस्य तत् प्रतिकुर्वन्ति तद्भक्ताः प्रभवोऽपि हि. तिरस्कृताः विप्रलब्धाः, and even though they are being defamed, vipralabdaha, and also being cheated, being defamed and cheated. Saptaha, even though they were cursed. Kshipta, disturbed by negligence. Hata api, even though they are killed. Even though they are killed. Tiriskrutaha, vipralabdaha, septaha, kshiptaha, hata api. So in all these kinds of situations, Parikshit, the devotees of the Lord, na asya tat pratikurvanti, na asya tat pratikurvanti. So they will never ever counteract for all these acts. Na asya tat pratikurvanti, tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi, and the devotees of the Lord, tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi, they are powerful enough. Although they are powerful, certainly, but they don't counteract. That is the quality of the devotees. Nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi. So likewise, Shemika Rishi is glorifying the devotees of the Lord. Tiriskrutaha viprarabdaha saptaha kshiptaha hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi. So this is the Krishna conscious devotees. So translation for this verse. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rishi Shemik also knew that the Lord does not forgive a person who has committed an offense at the feet of a devotee. The Lord can only give direction to take shelter of the devotee. He thought within himself that if Maharaja Parikshit would counter curse the boy, he might be saved. But he knew also that a pure devotee is callous about worldly advantages or reverses. As such, the devotees are never inclined to counteract personal defamation, curses, negligence, etc. As far as such things are concerned, in personal affairs, the devotees do not care for them. But in the case of their being performed against the Lord and his devotees, then the devotees take very strong action. It was a personal affair, and therefore Shemika Rishi knew that the king would not take counteraction. Thus, there was no alternative than to place an appeal to the Lord for the immature boy. It is not that only Brahmanas are powerful enough to award curses or blessings upon the subordinates. The devotees of the Lord, even though he may not be a Brahmana, is more powerful than a Brahmana. But a powerful devotee never misuses the power for personal benefit. Whatever the power the devotee may have is always utilized in service towards the Lord and his devotees only. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Prabhupada has been explaining here. So about the devotees and Shemika Rishi, he is also yogi and he knows about the devotees. He is a Brahmana. So he is well aware of the position of a devotee. They are so much of tolerant. Titikshavaha, Karunikaha, Suhridaha, Sarvadehinam. Ajatasatravah Santavaha Sadavaha Sadhubhushanaha. These are the qualities of a devotee. They are always tolerant and compassionate and well-wisher of all the living entities. They do not have any enemies at all. Ajatasatravah Santa. They are very peaceful all the time. These are the ornaments of a devotee. So here, even the Parikshit could counteract, but he never do it in his personal affairs. He do not care about for personal. But if it is the same thing if we see the Ambrish Maharaj in that scenario, Ambrish also did not do anything, but the Lord did not uh, keep quiet. Here, the offender was the Brahmana, matured Brahmana, that is the Durvasa Muni. And what Lord has done, he has kept readily the Sudarsana Chakra at the home of Ambarish Maharaj. Immediately Sudarsana Chakra, it would fly and towards the Durvasa and to protect Ambarish Maharaj from the demon that is created by the Durvasa Muni. Then that Sudarshan Chakra chased him, and he went to all the places, to the Brahma and Lord Shiva, and then to the Lord Vishnu also. And Lord Vishnu said, Sadhavo Hrudayam Mahim Sadhunam Hrudayam Tvaham Madanyatya Najananti Naham Tebhyo Managapi. I don't know anyone except my devotees. My devotees don't know anyone except me. So I am in their heart, they are in my heart. So if you are to be protected, you have to go to Ambarish Maharaj only for the forgiveness. And then Durvasa Muni, even though he has traveled all over the universe, and then he has come back to Ambarish Maharaj, and then falling, asking for forgiveness in front of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj still he was waiting for the Durvasa Muni to come, so to break the Dwadasi breakfast. So likewise, the Lord does not tolerate if any offense towards his devotees. But here, Ambarish Maharaj, he was so tolerant. They do not take any actions towards the Brahmanas, even though they are powerful enough. So here, but Parikshit here, the situation is he's an immature and innocent boy, but he has done when he was among the other children. It is immature. So there is nothing that Parikshit also can counteract towards a small boy. And therefore, Shami Krishna knew that the king would not take counteraction. Thus, there was no alternative than to place an appeal to the Lord for the immature boy. And Prabhupada also mentions here, devotees are also more powerful than the Brahmanas, even though they are not Brahmana. And devotee will utilize all his powers and everything else, all pranaihi adha dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada, in the well-wisher of all other living entities, not in his personal affairs. Likewise, Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport. So this is the qualities of Krishna consciousness devotees. But what degree we have to develop, that we also reflect, it is the self-realization. As soon as we hear something from offensive words, but immediately the ego snake, it would raise among ourselves, and then immediately we speak. We cannot tolerate to hear such kind of words. That is the snake, our snake, the ego snake. But the Lord, Supreme Lord, he is sitting on the Ananta Shesha, who has got 1,000 hoods, but he is the Tasmin Prashanta Purushe Gata Vigrahevam. He is the Prashanta Purusha. So devotees also have to have such kind of qualities, more tolerance. Even though other people are doing offensive words and doing all these things, Tiraskrutaha, Vipralabdaha, Shaptaha, Kshiptaha, then when we have got those qualities, then Lord will recognize us. So that is Prabhupada is mentioning, and Shemikar is addressing the devotees of the Lord like that. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though the defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. So that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Tirskrutaha Vipralabdaha Saptaha Kiptaha Hatapi Na Asya Tat Pratikurvanti Tad Bhaktaha Prabhavopihi. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's letter, daily letter. So today it is a letter to Garga Muni, November 20, 1969, London. Can I request any dear devotees to read this small letter only? Hare Krishna. Okay, I shall read it in that case.
Hare Krishna, can you read this?
Yes, Mataji, please.
My dear Gargimani, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated November 17, 1969, with check for $63 and the bank receipt also. Tamala Krishna has gone now to Germany with the Sankirtana party to install Radha Krishna deity there. I hope by this time you have received the shipping documents and invoice sent by the Bank of Baroda as well as by me. So after clearing the goods, please let me know how you have received them. Regarding your expenditure, we do not mind if there is no saving. Our policy should be to collect millions of dollars and spend also millions of dollars or sometimes more. But we should be very careful that we may not be extravagant. For necessary expenditure, we have no grudge. I do not know what you are eating, but the eating program should be nutritious and simple, not luxurious. That means uh, chapatis, dal, vegetable, some butter, some fruit and milk. This is necessarily for keeping good health, but we should not indulge in sweet bowls or halwas or like that daily. Too much first class eating may stimulate our sex desire, especially sweet preparations. Anyway, eat Krishna Prasadam, but be careful that we may not indulge in luxury. For Krishna, we can offer the most beautiful preparation, but for us, Prasadam should be very simple. Regarding decoration of the deities, that is very nice. They should always be very attractive, so people who come will be attracted. So, as far as possible, economize, and there is no need of savings. But because we are trying to purchase our own building, we will have to save something. Because in the future, we will have to pay large monthly installment. I have heard from Tamala that there is a nice church, and they are asking uh, obtain 100,000. Is that negotiation still going on? If so, you can let me know what is the position. Now I shall be very soon going to Boston, and then I shall go to Los Angeles. So what will be the arrangement for my stay there? I shall be glad to hear from you conveniently. Please offer my blessing to others. I hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher Rishi Bhaktivedanta Swami. Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Mataji, can you take your points, Mataji, from this letter?
Yes, Prabhu. That is like one thing is Prabhupada said how much money you have to get, but you have to like spend all of them, or it may be even more in Krishna service, or maybe get like when they make the installation of the new deities or making a Krishna's temple. So then don't keep the money, and we are like spending all the monies, and other things like telling the eating the Krishna prasadam, but don't eat like a too eat like a simple food, but don't eat like a sweet halwas, but offering the Krishna and then take. If you eat like too say the eating good, yes. So sweet bowls or halwas, it's not too much too good. And then it's eating the similar to your sex desires. But especially if prepared for Krishna, you can prepare for nice food for Krishna. And other things, prepare the deities decorations very attractive, so people can come and see the deities and they can attracted by that. Yes, Prabhu, that's it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nicely summarized. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to make? Okay, so yeah, whatever the money it is being raised, so all the money will be spent for Krishna consciousness, and also as much as everything is to spend millions of pounds, millions of dollars, everything to spread Hare Krishna consciousness movement. That's all, and making the people conditioned souls to chant only for that purpose. And buying all these things, the best thing is everyone needs to chant. That's a basic principle. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's message. And eating also. Yukta hari viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasu, yukta swapna bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Whenever there is a control, limit, regulative principles, then only yoga is to be possible. Yoga can be executed very nicely. Okay, that is from this Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so we again this week, so the new event, so Radha Sevika Mataji is taking us through the Chaitanya's teachings, that is teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Today, from now to until 7:40, it is a reading program. So it will be for 5 days program to utilize these Christmas holidays. Apart from that, I don't have any further updates. And dear devotees, if you have got any further updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall move on to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Radha Sevika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhu, can I just bring up my screen just for this, or if you the song, so we can all sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More?
Yes, Mataji, sure.
And then so we just start if everybody can. Prabhu, will you bring it up or shall I bring it up? I've got it.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just. Okay, can everybody see it?
Yes, Mataji.
And you can hear me also?
Yes.
Okay. So, dear devotees, Hare Krishna. So can we please all kindly sing this song, this prayer to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before we start the teachings? Okay, so we'll start. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Tuma Bin Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Tum bin ke dayalu Jagat samsare पतित पावन हेतु तव अवतार मोसामा पतित प्रभु ना पावे यार श्री कृष्ण
चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे तुम भी
दयालु जगत संसारी हाँ हाँ प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी कृपा बालकना करो अमी बोरो दुखी हाँ हाँ प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी कृपा बालकाना करो हम बोरो दुखी दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई तव कृपा बाले पाय चैतन्य निताय
दया करो सीतापति
अद्वैत
अद्वैत गोसाई
तव
तव
कृपा
कृपा बले पार
चैतन्य निताय हाँ हाँ स्वरूप सनातन रूप रघुनाथ भट जुग श्री जीवा हा प्रभु लोकनाथ हाँ हाँ
स्वरूप सनातन रूप
रूप
रघुनाथ
रघुनाथ भट जुग श्री जीवा हाँ
प्रभु
प्रभु
लोकनाथ
लोकनाथ दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास रामचंद्र संग मांगे नर तो मदास
दया करो श्री आचार्य
प्रभु
प्रभु
श्रीनिवास
श्रीनिवास
रामचंद्र
रामचंद्र
संग
संग
मांगे नर
नरोत्तमदास
दास श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु
दया
दया
करो रे तुम बिन के दयालु जगत संसारे
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य दया करो
हरे कृष्णा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद
अद्वैत
जय
चंद्र
जय जय
गौर भक्त
गौरानंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री कृष्ण
चैतन्य जय
चैतन्य
नित्यानंद श्री
जय
अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त
गौरानंद
वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा
जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद जय श्री अद्वैत जय गौरानंद
Hare Krishna, everyone. So, Prabhu, can you please kindly share the link? I don't have it on my computer. Okay, so we're moving into the teachings of Lord Chaitanya here. So, so there's different ways we can do this. We can all read paragraphs each. So is that okay by everyone? Or should I start today and then tomorrow we can go through who's going to read what? Is that okay? Okay, I'll just have a look at the chat quickly. Okay. Right. Okay, so I'm going to start anyhow, and then hopefully let's see how we progress. So this is the introduction to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So it's a small book that Srila Prabhupada put together, which includes all the key parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'll start with introduction. Originally delivered as 5 morning lectures on Chaitanya Charitamrita, the authoritative biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami before the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This was in New York City, April the 10th to the 14th, 1967. So the word Chaitanya means living force, Charitra means character, and Amrita means immortal. As living entities, we can move, but a table cannot because it does not possess living force. Movement and activity may be considered signs of the living force. Indeed, it may be said that there can be no activity without the living force. Although the living force is present in the material condition, this condition is not Amrita, immortal. The words Chaitanya Charitamrita then may be translated as the character of the living force in immortality. But this living force displayed immortally, it is not. But how is this living force displayed immortally? It is not displayed by man or any other creature in this material universe, for none of us are immortal in these bodies. We possess the living force. We perform activities and we are immortal by our nature and constitution. But the material condition into which we have been put does not allow our immortality to be displayed. It is stated in the Katha Upanishad that eternality and the living force are characteristics of both ourselves and God. Although this is true in that both God and ourselves are immortal living beings, there is a difference. As living entities, we perform many activities, but we have a tendency to fall down into material nature. God has no such tendency. Being all powerful, he never comes under the control of material nature. Indeed, material nature is but one display of his inconceivable energies. An analogy will help us understand the distinction between ourselves and God. From the ground, we may see only clouds in the sky, but if we fly above the clouds, we can see the sun shining. From the sky, skyscrapers and cities seem very tiny. Similarly, from God's position, this entire material creation is insignificant. The living entity is also insignificant, and his tendency is to come down from the heights, where everything can be seen in perspective. God, however, does not have this tendency. The Supreme Lord is not subject to falling down into illusion, Maya, any more than the sun is subject to falling beneath the clouds. Impersonalist philosophers, Mayavadis, maintain that because we fall under the control of Maya when we come into this material world, God must also fall under the Maya's control. This is the fallacy of their philosophy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should therefore not be considered one of us. He is Krishna himself, the supreme living entity, and as such, he never comes under the cloud of Maya. Krishna, his expansions, and even his higher devotees never fall into the clutches of illusion. Lord Chaitanya came to earth simply to preach Krishna Bhakti, love of Krishna. In other words, he is a student. He is Lord Krishna himself, I beg your pardon, teaching the living entities the proper way to approach Krishna. He is like a teacher who, seeing a student doing poorly, takes up a pencil and writes, saying, "Do it like this, A, B, C." From this, one should not foolishly think that the teacher is learning his ABCs. Similarly, although Lord Chaitanya appears in the guise of a devotee, we should not foolishly think he is an ordinary human being. We should always remember that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, God himself, teaching us how to become Krishna conscious, and we must study him in that light. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Give up all your nonsense and surrender to me. I will protect you." We say, "Oh, surrender, but I have so many responsibilities." And Maya illusion says to us, "Don't do it or you'll be out of my clutches. Just stay in my clutches and I'll kick you." It is a fact that we are constantly being kicked by Maya, just as the male ass is being kicked in the face by the she-ass when he comes for sex. Similarly, cats and dogs are always fighting and whining when they have sex. Even an elephant in the jungle is caught by the use of a trained she-elephant who leads him into a pit. We should learn by observing these tricks of nature. Maya has many ways to entrap us, and her strongest shackle is the female. Of course, in actuality, we are neither male nor female, for these designations refer only to the outer dress, the body. We are all actually Krishna's servants, but in conditioned life, we are shackled by the iron chains in the form of beautiful women. Thus, every male is bound by sex, and therefore, one who wishes to gain liberation from the material clutches must first learn to control the sex urge. Unrestricted sex puts one fully in the clutches of illusion. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu officially renounced this illusion at the age of 24, although his wife was 16 and his mother 70, and he was the only male in the family. Although he was a Brahmana and was not rich, he took sannyas, the renounced order of life, and thus extricated himself from the family entanglement. If we wish to become fully Krishna conscious, we have to give up the shackles of Maya. Or if we remain with Maya, we should live in such a way that we will not be subject to illusion, as did the many householders among Lord Chaitanya's closest devotees. With his followers in the renounced order, however, Lord Chaitanya was very strict. He even banished Junior Haridasa, an important Kirtana leader, for glancing lustfully at a woman. The Lord told him, "You are living with me in the renounced order, and yet you are looking at a woman with lust." Other devotees of the Lord had appealed to him to forgive Haridas, but he replied, "All of you can forgive him and live with him. I shall live alone." On the other hand, when the Lord learned that the wife of one of his householder devotees was pregnant, he asked that the baby be given a certain auspicious name. So while the Lord approved of householders having regulated sex, he was like a thunderbolt with those in the renounced order who tried to cheat by the method known as drinking water underwater while bathing on the fast day. In other words, he tolerated no hypocrisy amongst his followers. From the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we learn how Lord Chaitanya taught people to break the shackles of Maya and become immortal. Thus, as mentioned above, the title may be properly translated as the character of the living force in immortality. The supreme living force is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is also the supreme entity. There are innumerable living entities, and all of them are individuals. This is very easy to understand. We are all individual in our thoughts and desires, and the Lord, Supreme Lord is also an individual person. He is different though. He is the leader, and one whom no one can excel. Amongst the minute living entities, one can excel another in one capacity or another. Like each of these living entities, the Lord is an individual, but he is different in that he is the supreme individual. God is also infallible, and thus in the Bhagavad Gita, he is addressed as Achyuta, which means he who never falls down. His name is appropriate because in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna falls into the illusion, but Krishna does not. Krishna himself reveals his infallibility when he says to Arjuna, "When I appear in this world, I do so by my own internal potency." Bhagavad Gita 4.6. Thus, we should not think that Krishna is overpowered by the material potency when he is in the material world. Neither Krishna nor his incarnations ever come under the control of material nature. They are totally free. Indeed, in Srimad Bhagavatam, one who has a godly nature is actually defined as one who is not affected by the modes of material nature. Although in material nature, if even a devotee can attain this freedom, then what to speak of the Supreme Lord? The real question is, how can we remain unpolluted by the material contamination while in this material world? Srila Rupa Goswami explains that we can remain uncontaminated while in the world if we simply make it our ambition to serve Krishna. One may then justifiably ask, how can I serve? It is not simply a matter of meditation, which is just an activity of the mind, but of performing practical work for Krishna. In such work, we should leave no resource unused. Whatever is there, whatever we have should be used for Krishna. We can use everything: typewriters, automobiles, aeroplanes, missiles. If we simply speak to people about Krishna consciousness, we are also rendering service. If our mind, senses, speech, money, and energies are thus engaged in the service of Krishna, then we are no longer in material nature. By virtue of spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, we transcend the platform of material nature. It is a fact that Krishna, his expansions, and his devotees, that is, those who work for him, are not in material nature, although people with a poor fund of knowledge think they are. The Chaitanya Charitamrita teaches that the spirit, soul, is immortal, and that our activities in the spiritual world are also immortal. The Mayavadis, who hold the view that the absolute is impersonal and formless, contend that a realized soul has no need to talk. But the Vaishnavas, devotees of Krishna, contend that when one reaches the stage of realization, he really begins to talk. Previously, we had only talked of nonsense. The Vaishnavas say, now let us begin our real talks of Krishna. In support of their view that the self-realized remain silent, the Mayavadis are fond of using the examples of the water pot, maintaining that when the pot is not filled with water, it makes a sound, but that when it is filled, it makes no sound. But are we water pots? How can we be compared to them? A good analogy utilizes as many similarities between two objects as possible. A water pot is not an active living force, but we are. Ever silent meditation may be adequate for water pot, but for us, not for us. Indeed, when a devotee realizes how much he has to say about Krishna, 24 hours in a day is not sufficient. It is a fool who is celebrated as long as he does not speak. But for when he breaks his silence, his lack of knowledge is exposed. The Chaitanya Charitamrita shows us that there are many wonderful things to discover by glorifying the Supreme. In the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes, I offer my respects to my spiritual masters. He uses the plural here to indicate the disciplic succession. He offers obeisances not to his spiritual master alone, but to the whole parampara, the chain of disciplic succession, beginning with Lord Krishna himself. Thus, the author addresses the Guru in the plural to show the highest respect for all his predecessor spiritual masters. After offering obeisances to the disciplic succession, the author pays obeisances to all other devotees, to the Lord himself, to his incarnations, to the expansions of Godhead, and to the manifestations of Krishna's internal energy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes called Krishna Chaitanya, is the embodiment of all of these. He is God, Guru, devotee, incarnation, internal energy, and expansion of God. As his associate, Nityananda, he is the first expansion of God. As Advaita, he is an incarnation. As Gadadhar, he is the internal potency. And as Srivas, he is the marginal living entity in the role of devotee. Thus, Krishna should not be thought of as being alone, but should be considered as eternally existing with all his manifestations, as described by Ramanujacharya. In the Vishtadvaita philosophy, God's energies, expansions, and incarnations are considered to be oneness in diversity. In other words, God is not separate from all of these. Everything together is God. Actually, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is not intended for the novice, for it is the postgraduate study of spiritual knowledge. Ideally, one begins with the Bhagavad Gita and advances through the Srimad Bhagavatam to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Although all these great scriptures are on the same absolute level, for the sake of comparative study, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered to be the highest platform. Every verse in it is perfectly composed. In the second verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author offers his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. He compares them to the sun and the moon because they dissipate the darkness of the material world. In this instance, the sun and the moon have risen together. In the Western world, where the glories of Lord Chaitanya are relatively unknown, one may inquire, who is Krishna Chaitanya? The author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj, answers that the question is the third verse of his book. Generally, in the Upanishads, the supreme absolute truth is described in an impersonal way, but the personal aspect of the absolute truth is mentioned in the Ishopanishad, where we find the following verse. Hiranmeyena patrena sastyastra pihitam mukham tatvam pusan apafrinu satya dharmaya drishtate. Oh, my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. Ishopanishad 15. The impersonalists do not have the power to go beyond the effulgence of God and arrive at the personality of Godhead, from whom this effulgence is emanating. The Ishopanishad is a hymn to that personality of Godhead. It is not that the impersonal Brahman is denied. It is also described that the Brahman is revealed to be the glaring effulgence of the body of Lord Krishna. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we learn that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. In other words, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the basis of the impersonal Brahman. And Paramatma, or Super Soul, who is present within the heart of every living entity and within every atom of the universe, is but the partial representation of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, being the basis of both Brahman and the all-pervading Paramatma as well, is the supreme personality of Godhead. As such, he is full in 6 opulences: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. In short, we should know that he is Krishna, God, and that nothing is equal to or greater than him. There is nothing superior to be conceived. He is the supreme person. Srila Rupa Goswami, a confidential devotee taught for more than 10 days continually by Lord Chaitanya, wrote, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Preme Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Preme Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Preme Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, unto the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatara, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya's teachings begin from the point of surrender to Krishna. He does not pursue the path of Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Hatha Yoga, but begins at the end of material existence, at the point where one gives up all material attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna begins his teachings by distinguishing the soul from matter, and in the 18th chapter, he concludes at the point where the soul surrenders to him in devotion. The Mayavadis would have all talk cease there, but at that point, the real discussion only begins. As the Vedanta Sutra says, at the very beginning, Ato Brahma Jignasa, real beginning. Ahato Brahmajignasa. Now let us begin to inquire about the supreme absolute truth. Rupa Goswami thus praises Lord Chaitanya as the most magnificent incarnation of all, for he gives the greatest gift by teaching the highest form of devotional service. In other words, he answers the most important inquiries that anyone can make. There are different stages of devotional service and God realization. Speaking strictly, anyone who accepts the existence of God is situated in devotional service. To acknowledge that God is great is something, but not much. Lord Chaitanya, preaching as an acharya, a great teacher, taught that we can enter into a relationship with God and actually become God's friend, parent, or lover. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed Arjuna his universal form because Arjuna was his very dear friend. Upon seeing Krishna as the Lord of the universes, however, Arjuna asked Krishna to forgive the familiarity of his friendship. Lord Chaitanya goes beyond this point. Through Lord Chaitanya, we can become friends with Krishna, and there will be no limit to his friendship. To this friendship, we can become friends of Krishna, not in awe or adoration, but in complete freedom. We can even relate to God as his father or mother. This is the philosophy not only of Chaitanya Charitamrita, but of Srimad Bhagavatam as well. There is no other scripture in the world in which God is treated as a son of a devotee. Usually, God is seen as the Almighty Father who supplies the demands of his sons. The great devotees, however, sometimes treat God as a son in their execution of devotional service. The son demands and the father and mother supply. In the supplying Krishna, the devotee becomes like a father or mother. Instead of taking from God, we give to God. It was in this relationship that Krishna's mother Yashoda told the Lord, "Here, eat this or you'll die, eat nicely." In this way, Krishna, although the proprietor of everything, depends on the mercy of his devotees. This is a uniquely high level of friendship in which the devotee actually believes himself to be the father or mother of Krishna. However, Lord Chaitanya's greatest gift was his teaching that Krishna can be treated as one's lover. In this relationship, the Lord becomes so much attracted to his devotee that he expresses his inability to reciprocate. Krishna was so obliged to the gopis, the cowherd girls of Vrindavan, that he felt unable to return their love. "I cannot repay your love," he told them. "I have no more assets to give." Devotional service on this highest, most excellent platform of lover and beloved, which has never been given to any previous incarnation or acharya, has been given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj, quoting Srila Rupa Goswami, writes in the 4th verse of his book, "Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in a yellow complexion, and he is Sachitananda, the son of Mother Sachi. He is the most charitable personality because he came to deliver Krishna Prema, an unalloyed love for Krishna, to everyone. May you always keep him in your hearts. It will be easy to understand Krishna through him." We have often heard the phrase love of Godhead. How far this love of Godhead can actually be developed, can be learned from the Vaishnava philosophy. Theological knowledge of love of God can be found in many places and in many scriptures. But what that love of Godhead actually is and how it is developed can be found in the Vaishnava literatures. It is the unique and highest development of love of God, and that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even in this material world, we can have a little sense of love. How is this possible? Is it due to the presence of our original love of God? Whatever we find within our experience within this conditioned life is situated in the Supreme Lord, who is the ultimate source of everything. In our original relationship with the Supreme Lord, there is real love, and that love is reflected pervertedly through the material conditions. Our real love is continuous and unending, but because that love is reflected pervertedly in the material world, It lacks continuity and is inebriating. If we want real transcendental love, we have to transfer our love to the supreme lovable object, Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. In material consciousness, we are trying to love that which is not lovable. We give our love to cats and dogs, running the risk that at the time of death we may think of them and consequently take birth in a family of cats and dogs. Our consciousness at the time of death determines our next life. That is one reason why the Vedic scriptures stress the chastity of women. If women is very much attached to her husband, at the time of death she will think of him. In the next life she will be promoted to a man's body. Generally, a man's life is better than a woman's because a man usually has better facilities for understanding the spiritual science. But Krishna consciousness is so nice that it makes no distinction between man and woman. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.32, Lord Krishna says, anyone who takes shelter of me, whether a woman, Shudra, Vaishya, or someone of low birth, is sure to achieve my association. This is Krishna's guarantee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informs us in every country and in every scripture is some hint of love of Godhead, but no one knows what love of Godhead actually is. The Vedic scriptures, however, are different in that they can direct the individual in the proper way to love, to the proper way to love God. Other scriptures do not give information on how one can love God, nor do they actually define or describe what or who the Godhead actually is. Although they officially promote love of Godhead, they have no idea how to execute it. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives a practical demonstration of how to love God in a conjugal relationship. Taking the part of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to love Krishna as Radharani loved him. Krishna was always amazed by Radharani's love. How does Radharani give me so much pleasure? He would ask. In order to study Radharani, Krishna lived in her role and tried to understand him. This is the secret of Lord Chaitanya's incarnation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, but he has taken the mood and role of Radharani to show us how to love Krishna. Thus, the author writes in the 5th verse, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord who is absorbed in Radharani's thoughts. This brings up the question of who is Srimati Radharani is and what Radha Krishna is. Actually, Radha Krishna is the exchange of love, but not ordinary love. Krishna has immense potencies, of which 3 are principal: the internal, the external, and the marginal potencies. In the internal potencies, there are 3 divisions: Samvit, Haladini, and Sandhini. In the Haladini potency is Krishna's pleasure potency. All living entities have this pleasure-seeking potency, for all beings are trying to have pleasure. This is the very nature of the living entity. At present, we are trying to enjoy our pleasure potency by means of the body in the material condition. By bodily contact, we are attempting to derive pleasure from material sense objects. But we should not entertain the nonsensical idea that Krishna, who is always spiritual, also tries to seek pleasure on the material plane. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes the material universe as a non-permanent place full of miseries. Why then would he seek pleasure in matter? He is the super soul, the supreme spirit, and his pleasure is beyond the material conception. To learn how Krishna enjoys pleasure, we must study the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we should study the 10th canto, in which Krishna's pleasure potency is displayed in his pastimes with Radharani and the damsels of Vraja. Unfortunately, unintelligent people turn at once to the sports of Krishna in the Dasmaskanda, the 10th canto, in the 10th canto. Krishna's embracing Radharani or his dancing with the cowherd girls in the Rasa dance are generally not understood by ordinary men because they consider these pastimes in the light of mundane lust. They foolishly think that Krishna is like themselves, and that he embraces the gopis just as an ordinary man embraces a young girl. Some people thus become interested in Krishna because they think that his religion allows indulgence in sex. This is not Krishna Bhakti. Love of Krishna, but Prakriti Sahajya, materialistic love. To avoid such errors, we should understand that Radha Krishna actually is what Radha Krishna. To avoid such errors, we should understand what Radha Krishna actually is. Radha and Krishna display their pastimes through Krishna's internal energy. The pleasure potency of Krishna's internal energy is a most difficult subject matter, and unless one understands what Krishna is, one cannot understand it. Krishna does not take any pleasure in this material world, but he has a pleasure potency. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna, the pleasure potency is within us also. But we are trying to exhibit that pleasure potency in matter. Krishna, however, does not make such a vain attempt. The object of Krishna's pleasure potency is Radharani. Krishna exhibits his potency as Radharani and then engages in loving affairs with her. In other words, Krishna does not take pleasure in this material, in this external energy, but exhibits his internal energy, his pleasure potency as Radharani, and then enjoys with her. Thus, Krishna manifests himself as Radharani in order to enjoy his internal pleasure potency. Of the many expansions, and incarnations of the Lord, this pleasure potency is the foremost and chief. It is not that Radharani is separate from Krishna. Radharani is also Krishna, for there is no difference between the energy and the energetic. Without energy, there is no meaning to the energetic, and without energetic, there is no energy. Similarly, without Radha, there is no meaning to Krishna, and without Krishna, there is no meaning to Radha. Because of this, the Vaishnava philosophy first of all pays obeisances to and worships the internal pleasure potency of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the Lord and his potency are always referred to as Radha Krishna. Similarly, those who worship Narayan first of all utter the name of Lakshmi as Lakshmi Narayan. Similarly, those who worship Lord Rama first of all utter the name of Sita. In any case, Sita Ram, Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, the potency always comes first. Radha and Krishna are one, and when Krishna desires to enjoy pleasure, he manifests himself as Radharani. The spiritual exchange of love between Radha and Krishna is the actual display of Krishna's internal pleasure potency. Although we speak of when Krishna desires, just when he did desire, we cannot say. We only speak in this way because in conditioned life, we take it that everything has a beginning. However, in spiritual life, everything is absolute. And so there is neither beginning nor end. Yet, in order to understand that Radha and Krishna are one and that they also become divided, the question when automatically comes to mind. When Krishna desired to enjoy his pleasure potency, he manifested himself in the separate form of Radharani. And when he wanted to understand himself through the agency of Radha, he united with Radharani, and that unification is called Lord Chaitanya. This is all explained by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj in the 5th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. In the next verse, the author further explains why Krishna assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna desired to know the glory of Radha's love. Why is she so much in love with me? Krishna asked. What is my special qualification that attracts her so? And what is the actual way in which she loves me? It seems strange that Krishna, as the Supreme, should be attracted by anyone's love. A man searches after the love of a woman because he is imperfect. He lacks something, the love of a woman, that potency and pleasure. Is absent in man. And therefore a man wants a woman. But this is not the case with Krishna, who is full in himself. Thus Krishna expressed surprise. Why am I attracted by Radharani? And when Radharani feels my love, what is she actually feeling? To taste the essence of that loving exchange, Krishna made his appearance in the same way that the moon appears on the horizon of the sea. Just as the moon was produced by the churning of the sea, by the churning of spiritual loving affairs, the moon of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya's complexion was golden, just like the luster of the moon. Although this is a figurative language, it conveys the meaning behind the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The full significance of his appearance will be explained in later chapters. After offering respects to Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Das Kaviraj begins offering them to Lord Nityananda in the 7th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. The author explains that Lord Nityananda is Balaram, who is the origin of Mahavishnu. Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, the portion of whom is manifested as Sankarshan, who then expands as Pradyumna. In this way, so many expansions take place. Although there are many expansions, Lord Shri Krishna is the origin. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, he is like the original candle from which many thousands and millions of candles are lit. Although any number of candles can be lit, the original candle still retains its identity as the original. In this way, Krishna expands himself into so many forms, and all these expansions are called Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu is a large light, and we are small lights, but all are expansions of Krishna. When it is necessary to create the material universes, Vishnu expands himself as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu lies down in the causal ocean and breathes all the universes from his nostrils. Thus, from Mahavishnu and the causal ocean spring all the universes, and all the universes, including ours, float in that causal ocean. In this regard, there is a story of Vamana, who, when he took 3 steps, stuck his foot through the coverings of this universe. Water from the causal ocean flowed through the hole that his foot made, and it is said that the water became the river Ganga. Therefore, the Ganga is accepted as the most sacred water of Vishnu and is worshipped by all Hindus, from the Himalayas down to the Bay of Bengal. Mahavishnu is actually an expansion of Balram, who is Krishna's first expansion, and in the Vrindavan pastimes, his brother. In the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, the word Rama refers to Balram. Since Lord Nityananda is Balram, Rama also refers to Lord Nityananda. Thus, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama addresses not only Krishna and Balram, but Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda as well. The subject matter of Chaitanya Charitamrita deals primarily with what is beyond this material creation. The cosmic material expansion is called Maya, illusion, because it has no eternal existence. Because it is sometimes manifested and sometimes not, it is regarded as illusory. But beyond this temporary manifestation is a higher nature, as indicated in the Bhagavad Gita 8.20. Parastasmattu bhavanyo vyakto avaktat sanatana ya sa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashati. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and it is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Bhagavad Gita 8.20. The material world has a manifested state, Vaktya, and a potential unmanifested state, Avyakta. The supreme nature is beyond both the manifested and unmanifested material nature. This superior nature can be understood as the living force, which is present in the bodies of all living creatures. The body itself is composed of inferior nature, matter, but it is the superior nature that is moving the body. The symptom of that superior nature is consciousness. Thus, in the spiritual world, where everything is composed of the superior nature, everything is conscious. In the material world, there are inanimate objects that are not conscious, but in the spiritual world, nothing is inanimate. There is a table. There, a table is conscious, and the land is conscious, and the trees are conscious. Everything is conscious. It is not possible to imagine how far this material manifestation extends. In the material world, everything is calculated by the imagination or by some imperfect method. But the Vedic literatures give real information of what lies beyond the material universe, since it is not possible to obtain information of anything beyond this material nature by experiential means. Those who believe only in experimental knowledge may doubt the Vedic conclusions. For such people cannot even calculate how far this universe extends, nor can they reach far into the universe itself. That which is beyond our power of conception is called achintya, inconceivable. It is useless to argue or speculate about the inconceivable. If something is limited, if something is truly inconceivable, it is not subject to speculation or experimentation. Our energy is limited and our sense perception is limited. Therefore, we must rely on Vedic conclusions regarding that subject matter which is inconceivable. Knowledge of the superior nature must simply be accepted without argument. How is it possible to argue about something to which we have no access? The method for understanding transcendental subject matter is given by Lord Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna at the beginning of the 4th chapter, Imam vivasyate yogam poktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave partha manur ikshvar kave abravet. I instructed this impeccable science of yoga to the sun god Vishvavan, and Vishvavan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ishwaku. Bhagavad Gita 4.1. This is the method of parampara or disciplic succession. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Krishna imparted knowledge into the heart of Brahma, the first created being within the universe. Brahma imparted these lessons to his disciple Narada, and Narada imparted that knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva imparted it to Madhvacharya, and from Madhvacharya the knowledge came down to Madhavendra Puri, and then to Ishvara Puri, and from him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may ask that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, then why did he need a spiritual master? Of course, he did not need a spiritual master, but because he was playing the role of Acharya, one who teaches by example, he accepted a spiritual master. Even Krishna himself accepted a spiritual master, for that is the system. In this way, the Lord sets the example for men. We should not think, however, that the Lord takes a spiritual master because he is in want of knowledge. He is simply stressing the importance of accepting the disciplic succession. The knowledge of that disciplic succession actually comes from the Lord himself, and if the knowledge descends unbroken, it is perfect. Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive the same knowledge through this process of transmission. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stressed that Krishna, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, transmitted transcendental knowledge onto the heart of Brahma. This then is one way knowledge is received, through the heart. Thus, there are two processes by which one may receive knowledge. One depends directly upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated as the Supersoul within the heart of all living entities, and the other depends upon the Guru, or the spiritual master, who is an expansion of Krishna. Thus, Krishna transmits information from both within and from without. We simply have to receive it. If knowledge is received in this way, it doesn't matter whether it is inconceivable or not. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is great deal of information given about the Vaikuntha planetary systems, which are beyond the material universe. Similarly, a great deal of inconceivable information is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experiential knowledge will fail. The knowledge simply has to be accepted. According to Vedic method, Shabda, or transcendental sound, is regarded as evidence. Sound is very important in Vedic understanding, for it is pure, it is accepted as authoritative. Even in the marginal material world, we accept a great deal of information sent thousands of miles by telephone or radio. In this way, we also accept sound as evidence in our daily lives. Although we cannot see the informant, we accept his information as valid on the basis of sound. Sound vibration, then, is very important in the transmission of Vedic knowledge. The Vedas inform us that beyond this cosmic manifestation, there are extensive planets in the spiritual sky. This material manifestation is regarded as only a small portion of the total creation. The material manifestation includes not only this universe, but innumerable others as well. But all the material universes combined constitute only 1/4 of the total creation. The remaining 3/4 is situated in the spiritual sky. In that sky, innumerable planets float, and they are called Vaikuntha Lokas. In every Vaikuntha Loka, Narayan presides with his 4 expansions, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. This Sankarshana states Krishna Das Kaviraj in the 8th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita is Lord Nityananda. As stated before, in his form as Mahavishnu, that the Lord manifests the material universes just as a husband and wife combine to beget offspring. Mahavishnu combines with his wife Maya, or material nature. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14.4, where Krishna states, Sarva yoneshu konteya mrutya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Vishnu impregnates Maya, the material nature, simply by glancing at her. This is the spiritual method. Materially, we are limited to impregnating by only one particular part of our body, but the Supreme Lord, Krishna or Mahavishnu, can impregnate by any part. Simply by glancing, the Lord can conceive countless living entities in the womb of material nature. The Brahma Samhita confirms that the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord is so powerful that any part of his body can perform the functions of any other part. We can touch only with our hands or skin, but Krishna can touch just by glancing. We can see only with our eyes. We can not touch or smell with them. Krishna, however, can smell and also eat with his eyes. When food is offered to Krishna, we do not see him eating, but he eats simply by glancing at the food. We cannot imagine how things work in the spiritual world, where everything is spiritual. It is not that Krishna does not eat, or that we imagine that he eats. He actually eats, but his eating is different from ours. Our eating process will be similar to his when we are completely on the spiritual platform. On that platform, every part of the body can actually act on behalf of any other part. Vishnu does not require anything in order to create. He does not require the goddess Lakshmi in order to give birth to Brahma. For Brahma is born from a lotus flower that grows from the navel of Vishnu. The goddess Lakshmi sits at the feet of Vishnu and serves him. In this material world, sex is required to produce children. But in the spiritual world, a man can produce as many children as he likes without having to take help from his wife. So there is no sex desire there, because we have no experience with spiritual energy. We think that Brahma's birth from the navel of Vishnu is simply a fictional story. We are not aware that spiritual energy is so powerful that it can do anything and everything. Material nature is dependent on certain laws, but spiritual energy is fully independent. Countless universes reside like seeds within the skin pores of Mahavishnu. And when he exhales, they are all manifested. In the material world, we have no experience of such a thing, but we do experience a perverted reflection in the phenomenon of perspiration. We cannot imagine, however, that duration of one breath of Mahavishnu, for within one breath, all the universes are created and annihilated. This is the state of this is stated in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma lives only for the duration of one breath. And according to our life scale, 4.32, so I don't know, I never know how to say this, 43,200,000 years constitute only 12 hours. How do you say that, Prabhu? Is it 43 million? 4 billion. Okay, right. So that's okay. So that's million. Okay, so 43.20 billion million years or something. Yeah. Constitute only 12 hours for Brahma, and Brahma lives 100 of his years. Yet the whole life of Brahma is contained within one breath of Mahavishnu. Thus, it is not possible for us to imagine the breathing power of Mahavishnu, who is but a partial manifestation of Lord Nityananda. This, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita explains in the 9th verse. In the 10th and 11th verses, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami describes Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Shirodakshai Vishnu, successive planetary expansions of Mahavishnu. Brahma appears upon a lotus growing from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And within the stem of that lotus are so many planetary systems. Then Brahma creates the whole of human society, animal society, everything. Shirodakshai Vishnu lies on the milk ocean within the universe, of which he is the controller and maintainer. Thus, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and when the time for annihilation arrives, Shiva will finally finish everything. In the first 11 verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami thus discusses Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Nityananda as Balram, the first expansions of Krishna. Then in the 12th and 13th verses, he describes Advaitacharya, who is another principal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and an incarnation of Mahavishnu. Thus, Advaitacharya is also the Lord, or more precisely, an expansion of the Lord. The word Advaita means non-dual, and his name is such because he is non-different from the Supreme Lord. He is also called Acharya, teacher, because he disseminated Krishna consciousness. In this way, he is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna himself, he appeared as a devotee to teach people in general how to love Krishna. Similarly, although Advaitacharya is the Lord, he appeared just to distribute the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Thus, he is also the Lord incarnated as a devotee. In the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is manifested in 5 different features known as Panchatattva, to whom Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his obeisances. In the 14th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna and his associates appear as devotees of the Supreme Lord in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaitacharya, Sri Gadadhar Prabhu, and Sri Shivas Prabhu. In all cases, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the source of energy for all his devotees. Since this is the case, if we take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the successful execution of Krishna consciousness, we are sure to make progress. In a devotional song, Narottama Das Thakur sings, "My dear Lord Chaitanya, please have mercy upon me. There is no one who is as merciful as you. My plea is most urgent because your mission is to deliver all fallen souls, and no one is more fallen than I. Therefore, I beg priority." With verse 15, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami begins offering his obeisances directly to Krishna himself. Krishnadas Kaviraj was an inhabitant of Vrindavan and a great devotee. He had been living with his family in Katwa, a small town in the district of Burdwan in Bengal. He worshipped Radha Krishna with his family, and once, when there was some misunderstanding amongst his family members about devotional service, he was advised by Nityananda Prabhu in a dream to leave home and go to Vrindavana. Although he was very old, he started out that very night and went to live in Vrindavan. When he was there, he met some of the six Goswamis, the principal disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was requested to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita by devotees of Vrindavan. Although he began his work at a very old age, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, he finished it. Today, it remains the most authoritative book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy and life. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was living in Vrindavan, there were not very many temples. At that time, the three principal temples were those of Madan Mohana, Govindji, and Gopinath. As a resident of Vrindavan, Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his respects to the deities in these temples and requests God's favor. My progress in spiritual life is very slow, so I'm asking your help. In the 15th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas offers his obeisances to the Madan Mohana Vigraha, the deity who can help us progress in Krishna consciousness. In the execution of Krishna consciousness, our first business is to know Krishna and our relationship with him. To know Krishna is to know oneself, and to know oneself is to know one's relationship with Krishna. Since this relationship can be learned by worshipping the Madan Mohana Vigraha, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami first establishes his relationship with him. When this is established in the 16th verse, Krishnadas offers his obeisances to the functional deity Govinda. The Govinda deity is called the functional deity because he shows us how to serve Radha and Krishna. The Madan Mohana deity simply establishes that I am your eternal servant. With Govinda, however, there is an actual acceptance of service. Govinda resides eternally in Vrindavan. In the spiritual world of Vrindavan, the buildings are made of touchstone. The cows are known as Surbi cows, givers of abundant milk, and the trees are known as wish-fulfilling trees, for they yield whatever one desires. In Vrindavan, Krishna herds the Surabhi cows, and he is worshipped by hundreds and thousands of gopis and cowherd girls who are all goddesses of fortune. When Krishna descends to the material world, this same Vrindavan descends with him, just as an entourage accompanies an important personage, because when Krishna comes, his land also comes. Vrindavan is considered to exist beyond the material world. Therefore, devotees take shelter of Vrindavan in India, for it is considered to be a replica of the original Vrindavan. Although one may complain that no Kalpa Vriksha, wish-fulfilling trees exist there, when the six Goswamis were there, Kalpa Vrikshas were present. It is not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. One must be first become a devotee. The Goswamis would live under a tree for one night only, and the trees would satisfy all their desires. For the common man, this may all seem very wonderful, but as one makes progress in devotional service, all this can be realized. Vrindavan is actually experienced as it is by persons who have stopped trying to derive pleasure from material enjoyment? When will my mind become cleansed of all hankering for material enjoyment so I will be able to see Vrindavan? One great devotee asks, the more Krishna conscious we become, the more we advance, and the more everything is revealed as spiritual. Thus, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami considered the Vrindavan in India to be as good as the Vrindavan in the spiritual sky. In the 16th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he describes Radharani and Krishna as seated beneath a wish-fulfilling tree in Vrindavan on a throne decorated with valuable jewels. There, Krishna's dear Gopi friends serve Radha and Krishna by singing and dancing, offering betel nuts and refreshments, and decorating their lordships with flowers. Even today in India, people decorate swinging thrones and recreate this scene during the month of July, August. Generally, at that time, people go to Vrindavan to offer their respects to the deities there. Finally, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers his blessings to his readers in the name of Gopinath deity, who is Krishna as master of the proprietor of the gopis. When Krishna played upon his flute, all the gopis or cowherd girls were attracted by the sound and left their household duties. And when they came to him, he danced with them. These activities are all described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. These gopis were childhood friends of Krishna, and many were married. For in India, the girls are generally married by the age of 12. The boys, however, are not married before 18. So Krishna was 15 or 16 at the time, was not married. Nonetheless, he called these girls from their homes and invited them to dance with him. That dance is called the Rasa Leela dance, and it is the most elevated of all Vrindavan pastimes. Krishna is therefore called Gopinath because he is the beloved master of the gopis. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami petitions the blessings of Lord Gopinath. May that Gopinath, the master of the gopis, Krishna, bless you. May you become blessed by Gopinath. The author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita prays that just as Krishna attracted the gopis by the sweet sound of his flute, he will also attract the reader's mind by that transcendental vibration.
Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki
Jai.
and Radha Sevika Mataji ki jai.
All devotees keep
Jai, Hari Bol.
It was long way.
Very long and nice reading, Mataji. We all listened to every word. So nice
Very
and
sweet.
beautiful. Thank you for taking this service early in the morning.
It's a very beautiful part of the day. Thank you so much, Mataji, for taking time for this 5 days to hear teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It's a very beautiful part. Maybe second chapter is a very small one. Maybe Radha Sevika Mataji. So what are your plans after this?
Okay. Shall I just quickly read this one and then we can move on tomorrow? And then tomorrow we'll allocate.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Yeah, because this is short, isn't it? So Lord Chaitanya's mission. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed his disciples to write books on the science of Krishna, a task which his followers have continued to carry out down to the present day. The elaborations and expositions on the philosophy taught by Lord Chaitanya are in fact most voluminous, extracting and consistent due to the system of disciplic succession. Although Lord Chaitanya was widely renowned as a scholar in his youth, he left only 8 verses called Shishashtakam. These 8 verses clearly reveal his mission and precepts. These supremely valuable prayers are translated here. Glory to Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. 2. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate, I have no attraction for them. 3. One should chant the holy name of Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. 4. Oh, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of, and 5, O son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, I am your eternal servant, yet somehow or other I have fallen into this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Number 6. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in this world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord unconditionally.
Shri Shri Sikshastam ki jai.
So, Prabhu, so from tomorrow, if I put a reading order in the chat, is everybody that's on this call going to be available tomorrow? So it's Smriti Karna Mataji, Sanchita Mataji, Usha Mataji. Can't see who else is there. Just a moment. Let me just open my participants. Okay, so if we read in maybe alphabetical order. So if I put, hopefully Gorangi Mataji, Malti Mataji and Meena Mataji. So if I put everybody that's, I think what we can do, everybody that's in the group, I'll put all the names in alphabetical order, and if somebody doesn't, if hopefully everyone will come. If they don't come, then we just miss that person and we just move on to the next person. Does that work? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll, yeah. And then everybody
Mataji,
read. Yeah.
Put me before, please, because I have work.
You have work.
Could you? Yes. So at the beginning, maybe I can read.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So Smithika and Mataji. Is anyone else that has to go to work, and we'll put them first? Okay. So actually, Smriti and Mataji said the preface is first. How long is the preface, Prabhu?
So it may be around 15 minutes, Mataji. So it's a small one only.
Okay, so Smriti and Mataji, would you mind doing the preface then?
No, Mataji, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah? Okay, so tomorrow, if we start with the preface, And then what's after that, Prabhu? So Smriti Karna Mataji is going to do the preface, and then prologue by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. How long is that?
Let me take around 35 minutes, Mataji.
Okay, so who would like to can someone please do this one?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I will do.
Okay, who is that? Sorry, I can't see who's speaking.
Malati Mataji.
Malati Mataji. Yes, thank you. So Malati Mataji, if you can do this tomorrow, is that okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you so much. And then the next one, Prabhu. And maybe, yeah.
Next one is a very tiny one.
Okay, so that
This one, Mataji.
Gaurangi Mataji, you want to do this one?
Yeah,
Okay,
short one.
Okay, so Gaurangi Mataji. So tomorrow, okay, and then what's next after that?
Then dedication.
And Gaurangi Mataji, you can also do this bit. It's
Yes.
quite
Hold on,
short, yeah.
Mataji.
It's
Okay.
short, this one, yeah. Okay, and the next one is that when we start. Okay, so if for tomorrow, if we start with Smriti Karna Mataji, she's going to do the first. Smriti Karna Mataji can do the first one. The first. So she's going to do the what was it, Prabhu, again? The
Preface.
The preface. So Smriti Karna Mataji is going to do the preface tomorrow. Then Malti Mataji is going to do Malti Mataji is going to do the prologue by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then Gaurangi Mataji is going to do the dedication and the I know about this edition. So there will be the 3 speakers for tomorrow. Is that okay? And then we'll work out. Then we'll do the. Okay, should we just carry on and we just allocate everybody now?
Yeah, sure. Mataji.
So everyone kind of knows what they're doing, because I'm sure, yeah. So then the first chapter, is Sanchita Mataji there?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, would you kindly do this one?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so the first chapter, so Prabhu, if you go back to, so who's still on the, okay, so chapter 1, how long is this one? This is long.
It may take around 35 to 40 minutes, Mataji.
Okay, so this we can do on Wednesday.
Chapter
And
2.
okay, chapter 2, so Sanjita Mataji, and then Usha Mataji is there, yeah?
Hare Krishna, but Mataji, I have to go to work, so can I start?
You have to go to work, okay.
On Wednesday, so I can do little. Like I'm working from home, but still I have to start my.
Okay, which day are you, so you're working every, okay,
on Wednesday.
Are you working tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, but tomorrow I don't know whether I can attend.
You got another meeting, okay.
Can I do tomorrow, Mataji? Can I do
Usha
tomorrow?
Mataji, yeah. Usha Mataji, okay, so can we have an extended one tomorrow then? And then Sanjita Mataji and Usha Mataji can do tomorrow, chapters 1 and 2. Is that gonna be, that's gonna be long though, isn't it?
It would stretch until 9 o'clock, Mataji. I don't know if devotees can stay until that time.
Yeah. Usha Mataji, can you do the day after tomorrow? So Wednesday. Sorry, not Wednesday, Thursday. I beg your pardon.
Okay, Mataji, Thursday is fine.
Okay, Thursday's fine. Okay, so tomorrow is Mitikarna Mataji, then Malti Mataji, then Gaurangi Mataji, then Wednesday is Sanchita Mataji, Thursday is Usha Mataji, and then Meena Mataji. Can you do Friday?
Yes, but I can do it like after, not like until 8 o'clock.
You can't deal. You have to do it early. It's not. I don't think that chapter's that long.
Yeah, it may take 25 minutes on Friday. Chapter
Is that okay? So we'll hopefully be finished by 8 then. So Meena Mataji on Friday. No, that's right, yeah. Okay, so tomorrow's Tuesday. Smritika Mataji, Gaurangi Mataji, and Malti Mataji. Wednesday, Sanchita Mataji. Thursday, Usha Mataji. Friday, Meena Mataji, and is there anyone else that wants to? Amol, Leela, Amol Prabhu, would you like to?
I think this is chapter 4. This also may take 20 minutes, something like that. We can add with chapter 3. I can be on Friday Mataji after
On
Meena.
Friday. Okay, brilliant. So then we kind of, and then there isn't, does Ratan Prabhu, can he do?
Ratan Prabhuji may not read all of it, maybe a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly, because sometimes he has all on a sudden he feels pain. So
Okay. And then, so we got up to wise, so we get, yeah, we'll do up to 4, and then slowly, and then I don't know how else, I mean, I don't know how we will.
Saturday. Also, Saturday we have like on temple there's reciting of Bhagavatam.
Yes, Saturday is going to be, but yeah. So maybe we'll leave it till Friday, till 4 wise men. Sorry, the 4 wise men, the wise man, and then
Wise soul. Wise soul. Personate soul.
Yeah. And then we can I don't know, maybe we can allocate how do we finish this?
Let's not put a deadline, Mataji. So as of now, 4 chapters are fine. So we're happy now. Maybe at the end, maybe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu maybe arrange something else.
Yeah.
Maybe Tollgate, maybe Saturday, Sunday, when we see some kind of, we'll come to know that one by the time.
Yeah.
The mood will set it. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can I add little suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be nice because when someone will read, but it would be nice to have realization. Then we can understand. Otherwise, reading, if little no discussion, then we cannot grasp the main point.
Yeah, I did want to do yeah. Okay, so
maybe you can make less page or less amount of content, but a little discussion, then we can develop more, because so that who are the reader, who are the listener, both will be benefited.
Okay, so I mean, I can create like a thing today, like where we do the key points and then a discussion. But all this is gonna, yeah, we can do that. Or will everyone else be willing to do that for their chapter?
It's a kind of takeaway points, Mataji. So it's not a complete full discussions and going for not lengthy ones, just making bullet points. Okay, this is the takeaway points. This is the takeaway points. Maybe if we are reading one chapter, then maybe 4 or 5 taking bullet points as a taking away with us. So to the like that.
Okay, so just for what we read today, can we just please go around and just ask everybody what their 3 main takeaway points are, just for today, and then for tomorrow I'll put them in bullet points for and then everyone can add to them. So so just if we just go around, so Amol Prabhu, to start with you, what were your 3 main takeaway points?
My first takeaway point, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is the uncomparable literature which we have to drink the nectar and waiting for us. That is my first takeaway. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he comes with all his Pashvadas, it bewilders even for the people, materialistic people, because it is not practically digestible. Because when the Lord is coming in the taking human forms, when we see Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nityananda Prabhu is the source of Mahavishnu. So it may not be easily digestible initially, but I would like to digest those things when in the taking the mood of all completely absorption. Because of when we see the people, they take birth like ordinary people and then disappear like ordinary people. Sometimes in front of us, whatever we daily day to day live, it is not easily digestible. But through their pastimes, going through the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that will be easily digestible for us. And we have seen those glimpses of glories already as devotees. That is my takeaway. Waiting for that point. And the other thing is that the mellows of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that tasted, and I would like to see such kind of mellows as well, how we are going to take into our life. Yeah, these are my takeaway points, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing. They're lovely points, aren't they? Right, Sanchita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. My main takeaway point is like in the name Chaitanya Charitamrita, the character of the living force in immortality. Like Lord Mahaprabhu came with a human body, with the mood of Radharani and to serve Krishna. And why do we call him immortal? Because he has been eating, like doing all the material activities like we all do, but he was never entangled in Maya. He renounced himself. He took the renounced order of life in such early age, and he would there was a beautiful mention that with the brahmacharis he would not even tolerate if anybody looked at a woman lustfully, but if it was a family who had given birth to a child, he would lovingly give a name to that child. So Charitra, his character was like his complexion, like a molten gold. So Chaitanya was always conscious. Chaitanya is consciousness, and the character was like Amrita. It's like that is what is the nectar, and we drink from the nectar. And then follows the pastimes, how like we all are entangled in Maya, and he is not. And it's always compared like how he showed us in this material body that how that can be done, like how Krishna acted. He did everything when he came to this material world 5,000 years ago. He did everything, but he was never entangled in Maya with our illusion. So that is my main takeaway, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Smriti Karna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I am doing in
Hare
Harshad.
Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad, Dandavad. Yeah. To write about the glories of Lord or his devotees, there is no age limit, or there is no barrier for physical disability. Although Krishnadas Kaviraj was old age, but in her old age, he did. And second point, actually, it was arranged by Lord. His family has problem, and he quit his family. So that is and thirdly, that means another thing is we cannot conceive Lord so without mercy of his or without his mercy, because he is unlimited. So we cannot understand him. So that is the main point. And another thing I can add also, maybe not as an additional point. Actually, sometimes people confuse who is the in the Mahamantra Hare Krishna and Hare Ram. Ram, people maybe think about Lord Ram is okay, but main thing is Prabhupada here mentioned is Balaram. Balaram. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. And Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
I haven't read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mataji, so I don't have any idea. But Mahaprabhu is very um, Lord Krishna and Radha. He came for. He gave us his name, holy name. That is very nice. So we all uh, got together for this glories to go by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. Uh, I can say that's it, Mataji.
Your
Sorry.
name is Varangi Mataji as well. I think you're gonna. I think you're gonna love. You're gonna love the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. They're beautiful.
Yes, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Wonderful. Okay, so yes, so Prabhu, I'm gonna hand over to you now.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. So thank you for kindly initiating this Chaitanya Charitamrita, this pastimes, very beautiful thing to read it. It would not be possible if we just do something else or plan something like, but it has come automatically. We'll see and relish it. We'll take it forward and continue. After these 5 days also, we will hope to see later on. The mood will set everything. Thank you so much, Mataji. And our glories to you.
Well, glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Harival, all glories to you. Yeah, just one quick question. Here is mentioned about the Lord Vishnu is a Kridayashna Vishnu. But is it Kridaya is mentioned he's in the causal ocean? Because in the Karunodaksha Vishnu in the causal ocean is a first expansion of Balaram. So, but in the Kridayashna Vishnu, because Garbhodaksha Vishnu is going to planet, then Krudaksha Vishnu in the all the going to every living entities for in the planet. So here it was mentioned in the Krudaksha Vishnu differently. So I confused. Please, can you clarify it, please?
She wrote the
So I think it may be at the end, Prabhuji. I think I have seen those things, but
You
It was
confirm
there. I
the
think I remember reading it. It was that bit of creation. It was when it was talking about Lord Nityananda Prabhu.
is Mahavishnu lies down in the casual ocean, and then
It's a bit further down, I think. Oh. I actually have I've got a visual representation of this. I'll try and find it. I think I showed it to the children in Krishna Club of the creation. So Krishna expands to Balram, and then the four, and then from the four, from Mahavir. I've got that in a pictorial form.
thanks. This is just we are looking for that context, Mataji. So where Prabhupada has explained this. Here Sai Vishnu, this part, it lies in the within this universe of which he is the control. It is Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. Is in the milk ocean and Garbhodak. So Krishna is currently is the controller and maintenance. Brahma is the creator. So is this one the Prabhuji you are mentioning about it?
yes, exactly. Is it
No,
Hirodaksha Vishnu or Karunodaksha Vishnu? That is the point.
so here everything is right, Prabhuji. So Garbhodak Sai Vishnu and Kshirodak Sai Vishnu successively plenary expansions of Mahavishnu. Yeah, and Brahma appears from the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, and later on Kshirodak Sai Vishnu lies in the milk ocean. Yeah, they are appropriate only.
So Hirodaksha Vishnu is the milk ocean. Is it? Because it's confusing because some place we found as a Karanodaksha Vishnu is a male caution.
Karnodakshaya Vishnu in the casual version, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu in the Garbhodaka version, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu in the Kshira version. So the names itself, they have got all these things.
Okay, Kiroshan. So who is our in the living entities? Every living entity. Who is our as a super soul? As a super soul, who is Vishnu? Is it?
So when Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he expands himself as a Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So Prabhupada mentions in some places, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is the super soul within the heart of all the living entities. And he also resides in the Kshirodaka ocean to be accessible for the demigods to come and put their place for any, they will come and offer their prayers for anything. So like that. So this is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu.
I see. Okay, that means he is a Kshirodarshan as well as his expansion as our super soul. So that is also Kshirodaksha Vishnu.
Yes.
Okay. Simultaneously both as a with the living entities as well as he's lying on the causal in the ocean, Kshirodaksha ocean.
Yes, and Kshirodakshaya and Vishnu, the name Vishnu means who has expanded himself throughout cosmic manifestation. He's a Vishnu. So that is there is no place that where the Lord is existed. So that is Vishnu. Lord is everywhere. Vishnu means everywhere, who has expanded. And from here, in this universe, also Virat Purusha, in this universe, he expands with all the Mahatattva and taking all these Mahatattva ingredients and with his Mahatattva Vikurvanad, then all these bodily parts, everything forms here. And his body will be shelter for different kinds of manifestations, his face and his toes. And Hari, once again, Hari, Vishnu, one of the three deities. Vishnu comes from the feet of Virat Rupa, and Brahma comes from the intelligence. Chandra comes from moon god, comes from the mind, and Lord Shankara comes from the ego of the Virat Purusha, and Agni, his mouth. The Surya is come like an eyes, likewise, and from Mitra and Mrityu, they are all parts of the Virat Purusha. Is a complete conscious, and Virat Purusha has got consciousness also manifested from him. So Virat Purusha, the Lord expands as Virat Purusha. So and all these bottom planetary systems like his toes and his legs and thighs, and then the space is the navel, his navel, and then all upper planetary systems gradually like his chest, his neck, and then his head, likewise his body, and everything is situated in the Virat Rupa body. So even though it is spiritual form and everything is material, is like a with the ingredients like earth, water, fire, and ether, and air. These are how the planets are made up of, and the living entities bodies, they're situated in the body of Virat Purusha. It's very beautifully explained, everything. And all these three deities, the principal deities, they are in the Satyaloka also. So Prabhupada here mentions they are on the Satyaloka, Brahma, Vishnu, and also Maheshwara in the similar in the top planetary system. And once we cross that, then it is the spiritual. So where Virajarivar is there, and these seven coverings of this is because the Lord enters as a Mahatattva. Lokan swadehe tanute, Lokan swadeham tanute, Mahan saptaviravritam. And because he enters and the space gives Nabo dadati swasatam. Nabo dadati swasatam. The sky gives a place for all the planetary systems to live with the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Lord enters as a Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. Because of his presence, this universe expands. And it is surrounded by Saptiviravritam. The seven avaranas: earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, and then the Mahatattva is covered as a outer layer. And it is planets. It is very beautifully explained in the third canto, 26, in the Sankhya Yoga by Kapil Bhagavan, how this universe expands. And later on, different in the second canto also, first chapter, there are few instructions. And then it is explained when we go through all these cantos gradually, systematically, we understand everything perfectly. And all this Goloka chart, it will give the pictorial representation for us to understand. And Lord, whenever he is putting all the living entities through his glance, whenever he glances on the Lakshmi Devi, and the shadow is the Durga Devi, Maya. Directly, he is not directly in contact with Maya. He is in contact with the Ramyatma Shakti. Yesha Prapannavardo Ramyatma Shaktya. And then Durga Devi is a Chaya, the shadow. And then she acts. And then to Lord Shankara and then Durga Devi. They are the father and mother of this universe. And the Durga Devi is the in charge. So Lord Shankara is the deity for the mode of ignorance. So, and then in the further technical descriptions like a Tattvajnana, so Lord Shankara or Linga is representing as a Linga. I have heard from the Bhakti Vikas Swami, and this Mahatattva Prakriti is the pot, and he is the Linga. That is how the living entities are injected into this universe, and they will here available for all the living entities as a father and mother, as a first father and mother. But here Lord Shiva is directly in contact with Maya. But whereas the Vishnu comes, he is with the Ramayatma Shakti. He is free from all the Maya. Whereas Brahma is in the mode of passion, so that he can create the living entities. But still, because he is in association with the Lord, he is free from mode of passion. But he is the deity for the mode of passion. So that is very beautifully explained. So everything will come into one kind of understanding later on when we are gradually seeing and hearing and reading from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Brahma Samhita. So some information is also given here about the Mahesha Dhama and Devi Dhama and the Govinda. So Goloka Dhami is the topmost. Next is the Devi and Mahesha Dhama. Devi, Mahesha, Haridhamana, Teshu, one after another. Devi Dhama is the bottom, and after that Mahesh Dhama, after that Haridhama. So this is universe is Devi Dhama, and top there is the Mahesh Dhama, and top is the Hari. It is very beautifully explained as much as possible. So this is Haridhama, and then here Mahesh Dhama. So it is given here, and then this is where this is also Mahakala Dhama, Sadasiva Loka. He is also in the spiritual and also some part is in the material. This is Mahesh Dhama, and this is the Devi Dhama, the universe, completely, which is surrounded by the Mahatattva. And here also Prabhupada So this one, here is the Swamsha. So, and here what it is mentioned, Vaibhava Vilasa. So Lord Narayana. And before that, he's a Swayamrupa from the Krishna in the Goloka. That is the form of Krishna is the covered by in Vrindavana. And then he expands into Prabhava Prakasha, Vaibhava Prakasha. So Prabhava and Vaibhava. So later on, into many forms as the Rasa dance, or when he married to 16,000 wives at Dwaraka, his form differently manifested according to different emotional features. And here Balarama comes here, and so that Tad Ekatma Rupa, and everything expands by Balaram in the Vrindavana. So that is further it is Vilasa and Prabhava Vilasa, and then here from his features he expands into Vasudeva, Sankashana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And then from here, from the Sankashana, it is the Vaibhava Vilasa. That is where Lord Narayana expands. And then Dvitiya Chaturvyaha, Vasudeva, Sankashana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Under Vasudeva, so here, here Keshava, Narayana, Madhava. These are Vaikuntha forms. And from Sankashana, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana. And Pradyumna, Trivikrama, Vamana, and Sridhara. From the Aniruddha, Hrushikesha, Padmanabha, Damodara. And here there are few other, from the Vasudeva, few other things, Adokshija, Purushottama, and from Sankashna, Upendra, Achyuta. These are all the Vaikuntha forms based on the symbols. They hold here, if we see here, in the Narayana, and whenever he expands, this is Sankashna, Vasudeva Sankashna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So these are in the next immediate circle of the Narayana. And then in the next layer, so we see further, there are again Vasudeva, Sankashana, and then Shri Madhava, and Shri Purushottama, and then Shri Madhusudana, and they're all for the second level of expansions. And then third layer, and then there is Nrisimha, Varaha. These are all Vaikuntha planets. And then finally there is Ananta also in the last layer. And there is Gayatri also is coming in the outer circle. And there is Rigveda. And then this is the Sudarshana Chakra, the disc. And Agni is coming at the end. These are the spiritual. So whenever there is a material world creation, this spiritual world, the lords, they will inject their potencies. They will inject their potencies. They always in the spiritual world, they inject their potencies, giving a partial like a Shakti to the they will appear in this material world. And then as soon as they finish with that incarnation, they will come back to their planet. Of course, there is no time influence in the spiritual planets. And here also we see there is Indra in the spiritual planets. He will give his potency to the material world Indra. That is where in the heavenly planets of this material world. Likewise, all this we see also. This is Makha, and the Conch is here once again. And there is a Kalki. And then here, this is Padmanidhi. There is a mace and Ishana. So this is very perfectly, as much as possible, it is perfectly created for our understanding, at least from the scriptures. There is a plow, and the Dharma is here. Dharma is also expansion of Krishna. And Vayu, and then bow. This is the Saringa bow. And
Sorry,
then
what is that?
Nandana.
Just you mentioned, can you repeat that one? Just last one. Yeah.
This is the bow, is the Dhanasu. This is the bow, is Saringa bow. And then later on, the sword, which is Nandaka sword, and then Varuna, and then here is Garuda, Visvaksena, and these are all layers. So these are near layer, and then going further circles within the Vaikuntha planet itself. And also there is a Niriti, and then lotus, Padma, and also club likewise, and also here Yama. Yama is also part of the spiritual planet. They will give their potencies whenever there is Yamadharmaraja is appearing as the sun god in the material universe. So these are the different expansions of the Lord in the Vaikuntha. So this is universal, and this is where we see all these things, Swamshas. And then within this material cosmic manifestations, and the first is the Purusha Avataras. This is Karnodak Sai Vishnu, and then Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, and then Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. And the Paramatma accompanying each individual soul is the Vyasti Paramatma. So that is the Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. He is the Vyasti Paramatma. Whereas Garbhodak Sai Vishnu is the Samasti Paramatma. He is the Paramatma of the total universe. Karnodak Sai Vishnu is the Paramatma of the totality of material creation. So, and then from there, Avesha. These are the Leela Avataras, the Guna Avataras, and the Yuga Avataras, the Manvantara Avataras, and then Sekyavesha Avataras. These are very beautifully explained here. But here, many of these things, they come from the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu as well. Because it is mentioned, he is the Ado Grihita Avatara Shateka Bijam. So as the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. So many of these things, so there is no difference between. So Kshirodak Sai Vishnu is coming from Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. So it also exactly mentions, aligns that statement. So these are the Leela Avataras from the Chatoshana, the 4 Kumaras, and then Narada. These are all Masya, these 22, and then further also have been explained here. Mohini. And here Haishesha, and this was not as part of 22 incarnations mentioned in the 3rd chapter of 1st canto. There are 22 incarnations, and here 3 more have been included, like Hamsa, Haishesha, and Prushnigarbha. So these have been included here as well. These are Leela Avataras, Guna Avataras, we know this Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. And then for the Yuga Avataras, Sukla, Rakta, Syam, correct Yuga Avataras. And the Manvantara Avataras is the names of the different Manus. Yajna, somehow Yajna is the son of Meru Devi, and then Nabi, Meru Devi. I don't remember exactly. So, but he is the grandson of Swayambhu Manu. So, as soon as or son of the Akuti, son of Akuti. So, and then Swayambhu Manu brings him back, and then he raises Yajna, and then he will be one of the Manvantara Avataras, one of the Manu as well, I believe. I need to see once again. I don't remember.
Yeah, Rohibaka Muni, Swayambhu Muni, yeah, 6th, 5th and 6th, yeah.
So that is Yajna and Vibhu and Satyasena, and these are the Manvantara Avataras. They have Vamana is also. There are different Manvantaras they appear. That's why they're called Manvantaras. Some we also see Leela Avatara is as part of Manvantara. So it is the same Avatara is called Manvantara Avataras. And then here, Sektavesha Avataras, Kapila Deva, Rishabha Deva, and Vibhuti Avataras also mentioned. Yeah, it is very beautifully explained everywhere. when we keep on looking at it and we're going through Bhagavatam and Shri Brahma Samhita, we'll come to know all these things. So here it is, Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, Karunadak Sai Vishnu.
What is the function of Karunadak Sai Vishnu?
Karunadak Sai Vishnu is the Paramatma of the totality of material creation. Jagurihe Purusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibihi Sambhotam Sodasakalam Ado Lok Sisrukshaya with 16 material elements. He enters into the cosmic manifestation. He creates, especially, is the source of all the Mahatattva and everything. From whose body innumerable universes. Yah Karna Navajale Jagadanda Koti. That verse Brahma Samhita explains that Karunadak Sai Vishnu. यस्येकनिस्विसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनादाः विष्णुर्महांसैः यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. This Karunadak Sai Vishnu is the one of the expansion, Kala Vishesho, Kala Avatara of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So that is Karunadak Sai Vishnu. And Yasyambasyayanasya Yoganidram Vitanvataha Nabhirtham Bhuja Dasid Brahma Visrujampatihi. From his navel, Brahma comes. That is the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. He expands further. So very beautifully explained. So we will also see this chart on one day after our Saturday sessions. That Vaikuntha descriptions, and then those are completed. Then we come to this Brahma Samhita and the Goloka chart to discuss in more detail. Okay, so that is, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you for your kind explanation. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so dear devotees, if you're all happy, and we shall conclude. We are already 8:50, and then continue in case if the devotees want to chant.
Hare Krishna, I've put the reading list on the chat. If I've made a mistake, please can you correct me?
In the chat, okay, in the WhatsApp, okay.
In the WhatsApp, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Is that right? Is that what we discussed? Sometimes I say things and then I forget them. So Smriti Karna Mataji, Malti Mataji, and then Gaurangi Mataji is tomorrow. Then Sanchita Mataji Wednesday, Usha Mataji, Meena Mataji on Thursday, and then you're on Friday, yeah?
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Yeah,
Is that okay? Is that what is that what we discussed?
Sanchita Mataji, are you comfortable with this?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I think there's a little mistake, like as we discussed. Meena Mataji, she could do Friday, and then Amoga Prabhu was after Meena Mataji. So whichever chapter Meena Mataji was
Okay,
doing.
so 3 and 4 is on Friday, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay, let me just quickly change that. Okay, yeah, and yeah, okay, so I'll move. Thank you. It's just I forget things so easily. Just a moment. Right, so it's Meena Mataji. Let me just